Hello, hello, hello. Welcome to Tea with the Druid 370. My name is Philip Cargom, and Tea with the Druid is brought to you by the Order of Bards, Servates and Druids. Lovely to see everyone arriving from steamy Texas and North Carolina and Forfar and Scotland and damp and overcast Scotland and Arizona and Barkham in Sussex down the road, Michigan, Phoenix, Arizona, roasting, Norway, Zagreb, hello from Zagreb, Wicklow, Ireland, such a beautiful spot, steamy Texas here too, Spalding, Lincolnshire, California, Washington State, Belgium, Nova Scotia, Yorkshire, Tring, Yorkshire, Netherlands, Sweden, Lincolnshire, Ontario, Canada. Lovely to see everyone. So do gather round, grab a seat. We're coming into the forest clearing. There's a log nearby, or stone, or perhaps you want to sit on the ground. It's very dry, so you can sit on the ground. It's not damp. As everyone gathers, and let's take a few moments to take a nice deep breath. And just to connect with that sense of having arrived. So much of our lives were moving towards something, and it's so important, whilst obviously that's part of being a human, is to move towards things, interesting things like food and other people and animals and plants and trees, and to move towards things that we love or that we want to experience. And then it's also important to stop. So now we can stop, and just for half an hour or so we can be together, we can explore a topic of mutual interest, and we can dive into a meditation. Let's check in with ourselves. How are you feeling? See what words come up. And then when the word comes up for how you're feeling, ask yourself, is that a bodily feeling? Like, am I just tired physically? Is it a emotional feeling, like upset, worried, anxious, or so on? Peaceful, calm? Or is it a thought? Interested to be here, curious, open, anxious, sleepy and tired from the full moon, says Gabriella. Dr. Ulven said, during my lunch, I'd counted bumblebees and gave up after 48. Grieving viscerally, in deep love, emotionally flat, worried in mind, energetic in body, grounded, I suppose, anticipatory, sleepy and anxious, grateful, exhausted, scattered, happy, relief from an eye injury healing, anxious about the state of the world, calm, tired, a bit listless, sense of achievement, but achy and tired. Sorry, it's going really quickly. Inspired heart, but fed up, balanced, spiritually centered, physically fatigued, mentally curious, stressed, relaxed, uncertain, aloha, connected with myself and here, anxious emotionally and tense in body, present, relaxed, still, anticipation, calm on holiday, feeling safe and blessed amongst friends, expanding with the universe, thank-filled, grateful for our sacred grove, glad it's August, content, anxious and unsettled, aware, happy to be with this group at the moment, feeling charged but hesitant, just beginning to feel like I've arrived home. Tense, blessed, happy to be here, present. Let me read you a poem. Thank you for that. It's from one of my favorite poets, Frank Owen. Frank McEwen, Frank LaRue Owen. He loves changing his name every so often. In absentia. If you send your spirit out, even from down here in the lowlands, fresh mountain air can fill your lungs. You don't have to move an inch to hear the water cascading over the falls. East towards the sun, north toward the moon, silent interior, shaded path, mountain lake. Chickadees delivering long talks on the nature of existence. The spirit of the high hills carves away what is no longer needed. The craggy ridgeline path itself polishes your soul's piles of troubled rubble into small handfuls of precious gold. Though you are alone, you are accompanied. Something ancient yet familiar draws near. You swear you hear a voice on the breeze say, "Be grateful for what you have. Do not long for what you do not. Herein lies contentment." Thank you, Frank, for that. I might read that in our meditation, read it slowly in the meditation. So I was kind of thinking about what topic to talk about today, and I came across this little piece from a guy called Oliver Burkeman, who, when he retired from his job of the kind of self-improvement column in the Guardian magazine here in the UK, he wrote his sort of key insights that he'd had, and the most important, about 8 important ideas that over the sort of 35 years or so that he'd been reading self-improvement books and psychology and so on, what he came up with. And here I thought is an interesting one, which just it occurred to me that we might like to look at. So I'm quoting Oliver Burkeman. Oliver Burkeman is quoting James Hollis here, and he says, "When stumped by a life choice, choose enlargement over happiness." In the title, I put deepening. I thought somehow deepening kind of works better for me, but enlargement is an interesting kind of term as well. Choose deepening or enlargement over happiness. I'm indebted to the Jungian therapist James Hollis for the insight that major personal decisions should be made not by asking, will this make me happy, but will this choice enlarge me or diminish me? We're terrible at predicting what will make us happy. The question swiftly gets bogged down in our narrow preferences for security and control. But the enlargement question elicits a deeper, intuitive response. You tend to just know whether, say, leaving or remaining in a relationship or job, though it might bring short-term comfort, would mean cheating yourself of growth. Relatedly, don't worry about burning bridges. Irreversible decisions tend to be more satisfying because now there's only one direction to travel, forward into whatever choice you made. Now, I think one of the limitations of this kind of advice is that all the nuances, all the particularities, all the personal details can make a huge difference. But just generally, this kind of principle of when you have a decision to make, choosing enlargement or deepening deepening of the soul, enlargement of experience. Is this choice going to mean this for me, or is it going to diminish my experience? Is it going to narrow things? Is it going to encase me in some way? And Liz is wisely saying, I'm not sure I've ever used happiness as a decision filter. Well, I would venture to suggest, Liz, that you're a rare soul. Happiness, in my mind, being mere moments in life rather than a constant state. It often surprises me how much time we might spend trying to get comfortable, as if sometimes we're spending all our lives maneuvering into the most comfortable position, and of course seeking that in the outside world too. How can we reduce anxiety and worry about the world? How can we find comfort in our hearts? But maybe life isn't about finding comfort or even necessarily happiness, but sort of deepening. That's all really. I think that's kind of I think that's clear perhaps and sufficient. Let's see what everybody's saying. Happiness versus content. A friend once said to me, that will shrink you. Same principle, I guess. Yes, that's this sort of question of size is interesting, isn't it? Andy says, my personal choices were jump in and trust. Catherine says, burning my bridges at my career job was the best day of my life. It was like finally living and moving into my true future. Yes, it's really interesting. I had a similar sort of experience. Irodriel says, expansion feels like the natural way to spirit to move through us. So to orient towards growth, deepening, expansion feels aligned with the intuitive path. Yes. Natalie says, different angle to Liz. I use contentment as my main filter going through the menopause and embracing my cronehood. Yes, this is, I think, Natalie, you've really hit on why the problem with self-help advice and all these things is it just gives one side of the coin. But in certain instances, maybe it's fine to go for one's own happiness and contentment, that you don't always have to be seeking deepening and enlargement and depth, and that sometimes we need, particularly given how stressful the world is and life can be, to make simple choices based on, I think that's going to make me happier, that's going to make me contented. Let's see what else. Morgan says, I can relate to this. I got laid off from a toxic job earlier this year, and it felt like I was no longer diminished. I was no longer diminished. Happiness did follow, but it needed a bit longer. Yes. Ooh, whoops. Elder says, surrender into depths equals bliss. I like that. Yes. I just love the word. I think I probably overused the word deep because I just love that. Depth gives such a good feeling of bliss, as you say, Elder. That's lovely. Yeah, thank you. Happiness can be an enlargement, says Monica. Yes. Why can't we have our cake and eat it? Why can't we? Yes. Good. That's excellent. Yeah. Happiness can be an enlargement. It doesn't have to be an either or thing. This is going to deepen me, enlarge me, and it's going to make me happy. Hooray. Win-win. Okay. So now let's go into, I've clicked on something. Experience as much as we cannot know often if any action is going to be good or bad is all experience. Yes, thank you. Codex Amalgam. What an interesting name. I think my principle is, does this decision lead me to who I want to be? Yes. Jane is warning of thunder and rain in North London. I think it's coming here. It feels like it's absolutely going to pour quite soon, actually. Yeah. Let's go into a meditation now. In the quest for deepening and enlargement and for happiness and contentment, Let's just allow ourselves to drop into a meditation. And we all have our favorite ways of doing this. It might be for you to close your eyes, soften your gaze, keep staring at the screen, whatever works for you. And just gradually, to the degree that you're able and want to, you can allow your sense of the walls around you, the floor beneath you, and the ceiling above you to gently fade away. As you find yourself within the sacred grove of the Druids, a place beloved of the Druids, a clearing in the forest, surrounded by our brothers and sisters, the trees, who are rooted deep in the earth and whose branches reach high into the air. And you take in a slow, deep breath, hold for a moment, and then breathe out fully and deeply. And as you breathe out, your awareness is drawn to the earth beneath you. What a wonderful feeling of this earth supporting you, taking your weight, so you can feel as heavy as you like, because it will hold you. The earth holds you, and it allows you, if you wish, to travel energetically down into this delicious darkness of the earth, which is full of life. Worms swishing by, lots of little creatures and bacterial life, the energy of the earth and all the different kinds of earth. It's not one continuous state, it's different. There's bits that are rocky and bits that have got clay in it, and there's some sand here and it's moist. And you're traveling down in your awareness, and there are some crystals perhaps here, glowing, sparkling like stars, and the mycelium of the roots connecting together the community of life above the surface of the earth. Here may we find nourishment. Here may the depths speak to us. Here may the energy of the earth flow up and through us, flowing through the soles of our feet, up our calves and shins, our thighs, and then up through our torsos, bringing us stable energy, strong earth energy. As we breathe in and out. And as the earth energy flows into our being, we become aware of the way the earth energy rises up through the roots of the trees. And we sense the trunks of the trees now. And we sense the energy of the trees. We breathe in their aroma. We breathe in the oxygen that they are giving to us, just as we breathe out the carbon dioxide that they breathe in this symbiotic exchange of gifts that keep us both alive. Breathing in the life force of the trees that flows through us, energizing our auras and our physical bodies. And we become aware of all the green around us. We sense the branches, the great boughs above us, and all the foliage, all that greenery, the birds and the trees, and this energy and life in the canopy in the sky above. And we breathe in this energy and this life, and it flows into our being. And the energy of the sky meets the energy of the earth within the center of our beings. And notice where you experience that center. Just allow your awareness of that center of your being to expand and just to have the space it needs, however much space it needs. Here you can find that enlargement, that deepening, just allowing yourself to be in this space. Just breathing in and breathing out. If you send your spirit out, even from down here in the lowlands, fresh mountain air can fill your lungs. You don't have to move an inch to hear the water cascading over the falls. East toward the sun, north toward the moon. Silent interior, shaded path, mountain lake. Chickadees delivering long talks on the nature of existence. The spirit of the high hills carves away what is no longer needed. The craggy ridgeline path itself polishes your soul's piles of troubled rubble into small handfuls of precious gold. Though you are alone, you are accompanied. Something ancient yet familiar draws near. You swear you hear a voice on the breeze say, "Be grateful for what you have. Do not long for what you do not. Herein lies contentment." And you allow the feeling of contentment just to be present to you. Just feeling that gratitude for all that you have, for life itself, for life herself, for life. And you feel yourself moving your palm or your palms to your heart in thanks. And from there, moving your palms down to the earth, giving thanks to the earth, thanks to all of life. Your hands drifting up now to take the hands of those to either side of you, so that you feel the whole circle now, all of us together here. May peace prevail on earth. May all of life be blessed. May the land be blessed. You gently squeeze the hand to either side of you, and you sense your hands floating down again to touch the earth, to touch your heart, to come up to your heart. May my life be blessed. May all life be blessed. And feeling these blessings, you start to become aware of your physical body. And as you do this, your awareness of being in the sacred grove, in the circle together, gently begins to fade as you become aware of being seated in front of your screen, here and now. And whenever you feel ready, you open your eyes. So thank you. Thank you very much for that. Blessings to everybody. And I very much look forward to seeing you next week. Have a wonderful week. And for those of you who are able to and who want to go into the Druid Hearth, we'll meet together in a few moments. Okay, many, many blessings. Okay, bye.